wonderful. Right, looks like we are live on YouTube. So welcome everybody to Mappy Hour. This is our happy hour for those of us who love maps, also known as geocachers. So cheers everybody. We have made it to yet another Friday.
You forgot to turn your sound on.
Looks like we are live on YouTube. So welcome everybody to Mappy Hour. This is our happy hour for those of us who love maps, also known as...
There we go.
You just all needed to hear that again, right? Sometimes it doesn't play, sometimes it does. Right, well, I am Lisa, Lookout Lisa, your host for tonight, and your other host is
JD Kid Vegas 19.
So welcome everybody. Again, we are broadcasting live from our hotel room, actually, here at GeoWoodstock in Kansas. And we've been having a great time. It's been a lot of fun. We'll talk more about that as we get into our notes from the field. But it's a small group tonight, which I understand a lot of folks we ran into the last couple of days we've been here. They're like, obviously everybody's out geocaching, and there's actually an event happening right now, and then it's rolling in.
I guess their internet's not working after all.
Apparently so. I thought it was me for a minute, but then I noticed everyone else moving.
Yeah, they're frozen. And they're gone. Oh, are they back? We can't hear you. We see you. Your lips are moving.
You're muted.
Yeah, it muted us. Okay. All right. It looks like the hotel kicked us off and kicked us back on. So stay tuned. Hopefully
Maybe the
we'll
check
stay
bounced
on.
and now it cleared.
What's that?
Maybe the check bounced and it just cleared.
Oh, that could be. That might be part of it.
Technology nowadays.
Yeah.
That fast.
Checks? What are those?
Yeah, we don't even have checks. We have a checking account, but no checks. All right, let me open up chat again. There we are. Okay, cool. So sorry, gang. It might be like this, so stay tuned. We'll rush through and see what we can get done. Again, we are in Hutchinson, Kansas for GeoWoodstock here, and we run into a lot of folks that we normally see here. Hopefully they'll peep in for a minute, but they may not catch us live tonight. So real quick, as you all know, please keep everything family friendly, and there might be kids in the rooms with us, and we are live streaming to our YouTube channel as well. And our topic tonight is all about DNFs and throwdowns. This was actually suggested to us by another Mappy Hour participant 2 weeks ago. So we thought we'd go ahead and do it. And luckily, we actually haven't even run into any DNFs yet for us.
No, we haven't. Yeah.
This trip. So we've been lucky, but obviously we have over the years, and so wanted to go ahead and honor that request and do that topic for tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get there, we do have notes from the field. So I'd love to know what y'all have been up to the last couple of weeks. And Tom, I see you've got your hand up, so let's go ahead and kick it off.
Okay. Last week I archived a cache that had lasted almost 20 years. I couldn't find it either. So it was a DNF for me. And I really wanted a solar powered cache. It had several different containers and several different lights. But I hid one about 3/4 of a mile away in a less buggy place. And it was published last night, about 5 o'clock Pacific. And it was found this morning.
Hey.
Yeah, our local first to find hound actually came down and found it. So yeah, the new one is called "Is the Light Still On?" The old one is the light on?
Oh,
Okay, so the new one is solar powered or
Yep, yep. It's
okay.
a little solar light, and you hold your hand over the panel, the light should come on, and it should light up every night.
Mhm.
So
well, yeah.
yep,
Well, that's awesome. I understand it's too bad that you had to archive the old one, but it's refreshing the game board, as they say, and now people can go back
yeah,
to near the same area and find something anew. Yeah, cool.
yep.
Well, thanks for sharing that. Yeah. I think it was Chris and then Melissa.
Hey, y'all.
Hey.
So I had a exciting caching week. I went on a business trip to Louisville, Kentucky, and went a day early so I could cache, and did a swing through the Midwest grabbing cache odysseys because I'm planning my trip to cache more than in driving across. And Melissa, look in the chat. I sent you a private chat on that. And I'm planning my route across, and it's like, oh, Michigan's just too far off, but Michigan's not that far from Louisville, so I ran up and grabbed the Cache Odyssey cache up there. I also got Indiana and Kentucky, of course, that actually was right down the road, and then the Cache Across Americas, the CAAs for Ohio and Kentucky. So it was a productive day before I actually had some business going on.
Nice.
Oh my goodness. So you're back already from Louisville?
Yeah, it was a 1 day training that I was giving.
Okay.
And then I just went out a day early, and I opted to go to Cashmore rather than joining all of you in Hutchinson this year because just last summer, well, 2 summers ago, I finished all the Kansas counties, and like I spent a lot of time in Hutchinson and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, I don't really want to go back there again in 2 years. I know I was just in West Virginia last year, but West Virginia, Tim, there's more stuff. I could see Melissa, so yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, sometimes, it's good to go to different events and try, check out what different communities are putting together. So totally get it. Yeah. Melissa, I think you're next.
Yes. And this is a new event that they're doing in West Virginia. So we'll see, you
Mhm.
know. I went to ASP GeoBash for the first time last weekend, and my 20-year-old son went with me because I promised him a camping trip. And he actually hung out with me doing the caching, which, I thought was fun. We spent the first day with Charles,
Yeah.
Cantai.
Uh-huh.
He drove us around, and that was a good thing because I could not get the NFC thing to work on my phone, and a lot of the caches we were doing with that. But I think together we got 5 first to finds.
Ooh.
So we were,
Yeah.
really enjoying that. Um, but I'm really glad that things with moving my son into the apartment caused me to be here instead of in Kansas because we are all pet lovers here. While at GeoBash, my son called in the middle of the night. They had to put one of their cats down. And then Wednesday, they found out one of their other cats is terminal cancer. So 2 cats in 9 days
Wow.
they will have to put down because they have this one scheduled for Monday. So they have the service coming to the house.
Oh, nice.
So, and doing it that way. The other one was emergency, but the emergency clinic does a nice job too. So, but so yeah, so some good caching, but in the middle, some pretty
Yeah.
awful, terrible stuff.
Oh, I'm so sorry. That's so rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they have no children. These are their babies.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, they can relate to me personally. Yeah. I'm
yes.
sorry. We'll pass on
So,
our condolences and
oh, thank
yeah.
you. Yes. Yes.
I'm glad you
So,
got to go to ASP. We've only been once and we really had a good time. So yeah.
it's, any any event you haven't been to before, it's just trying to get the feelers and the groundwork, and I'm so looking forward to going again. We'll see what's happening with GeoWoodstock though, because the 2 weekends back to back would, I know there were a lot of people at ASP that were going to Kansas, but I just think 2 weekends back to back would be difficult. So.
Yeah. It is, especially if they're far apart. Yeah.
Has it always been that way? Or was
Always. They're
Okay.
always the weekend before.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's the only weekend they can do ASP. It's free to get into the park, and that's when the camping starts.
Yeah.
And if they do it any later, they figure it'll kill their attendance because you have to pay to get into the park.
Sure.
And I don't know. I geocaching has criteria about, having to pay to get to things anyway, so I don't even know if it would qualify. So
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and the time we went, that was the Maryland GeoWoodstock.
Yeah.
So-
And we planned a little over a week trip. So we ended up at ASP and then toured East Coast states, and then went to Maryland Woodstock, and then came home. So that worked out really well.
Matter of fact, weren't we our little party the first people to use the
That new
cabins they
big
had built?
cabin. Yeah, it's a brand new cabin.
They were brand new back then.
Yeah, yeah. They just opened up. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We were the first ones because the park was just opening up for camping. And that worked out really well. We were able to share it with some other folks. They needed extra people to help, foot the bill for this larger cabin, and it worked out just fine. Yeah.
So you can't reserve like tent sites until Friday,
Ugh.
but the event starts on Thursday. So my son and I had everything thrown in the car and our site reserved for Friday and Saturday, and arrived on Thursday, and we're like, can we park and just use the bathroom? This sort of thing. We actually asked them at the ranger site, can we set up a day early? And they're like, no, 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 no. But some people we knew had a room in one of the cabins, and somebody wasn't coming till the next night. So they had 2 free cots. And so we were in a room with 4 other people that I knew. But it was free for us for the night.
Yeah.
Worked out well.
Yeah. That's kind of practically how it worked out. Ended up working out for us too, in a way. I mean, we shared the cost with the group because we were
Well,
there.
and
We shared the whole time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If we were, but now we know this. I had a terrible time getting information ahead of time. So that was in my survey.
Yeah, there you go.
Good. Yeah.
Okay, I've gone way over my time.
That's all right. Chris, did you have something more to add?
I just want to ask a question of this group, since you guys are from Spokane and Jim's from Spokane. Normally there's more people here from Spokane, but so when I was planning my trip to West Virginia for Cashmore, I'm going through Montana, because doesn't everybody go through Montana to get to West Virginia from Utah?
Of course.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Yeah. I might want to pop into Canada too.
Exactly. I stumbled across a place in Coeur d'Alene. It is called Mappy Hour Cafe. Have you guys heard of it?
No. We'll have to
Yeah,
go look
Jim,
at
you've
that.
heard of it? Yeah, and I was actually thinking I was going to stop and I was going to have an event, and like we could all play with the capybaras that they have, and it would be cool. And like I figured this group would be the core of it. You guys could run over to Coeur d'Alene. And I went to make a reservation, and they're like already booked out like 2 months. So
Really?
So if you guys who are a little closer, I mean, Jim, if you set up an event at that place, man, I might just drive up from Salt Lake when I get back home. I want to play with capybaras.
I wouldn't have known anything about it, but someone from the East Coast asked me, and I looked. It's kind of expensive, though.
It's $50 for 45 minutes, but I mean, really, how often do you get to play with capybaras? I will chuck
True
up
enough.
$50, and if we had a group of 10, I think it goes down to 40 something. So I'm in. I'm totally willing to pay that much money to play with animals.
We'll have to check that out and report back.
Lisa, if you haven't looked at it, you should look it up. It is
Okay.
interesting. I'm not sure if I'm that excited to play with animals, but it is it's definitely very intriguing.
Well, and it made me laugh because the name of the cafe is Mappy Hour Cafe. You know,
Yeah,
I'm
like
totally,
Mappy
this
Hour.
group needs to go. They have Mappy Hour at Mappy Hour, you know?
Yeah,
Well,
that'd be
yeah,
hilarious.
anyone that hasn't heard of it should look it up. It is definitely entertaining just to read about it.
And
Okay.
I'll scrounge up the link and drop it in the chat.
Great, thank you.
Better let Robert in.
Yeah, I see Robert's in the waiting room. Good. Yeah, and the funny thing is, now that you mentioned that, we have a friend, her caching name is Cappy something, some numbers.
Number, yeah.
Yeah, a good friend of ours. And she's been on a world tour and is just back in our area. So she would love to go to this Cappy place as well, I think. I love it. I guess we probably should roll into our topic. Or we need to do our.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what have you been up to?
Yeah. So just some highlights from GeoWoodstock 22 here. The organizers, in my opinion, have done a really good job
Yes.
organizing it. The one thing that I don't remember seeing at any other event is every lead up event, they bring the registration packet pickup. You can pick up your packet at any of the events.
Mhm.
And it's important because your lanyard gives you discounts at different stores around town.
Mhm.
And so you need that packet. But like we missed the first event, it was on Wednesday. The second event was on Thursday. That's the one we went to. We needed our lanyards to get in for free, but we picked up our packet and got the lanyards and we're in.
Yeah, yeah.
It was really good. And then just the different events that they are hosting for this have been awesome. For those that don't know, Hutchinson is related to the space program, and there's a museum here for that, and it's also the home of a salt mine. And so the theme is as above is below, and now makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Base and underground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the salt mine, they rented the salt mine has.
It's a museum, but it's so much more.
It's an active salt mine.
Yeah.
But they make their secondary income with this museum and tours and whatnot. So GeoWoodstock rented it for the day.
Yeah.
Just for us.
Free entry.
Yeah. To go in and go 650 feet down. And it was just a fantastic experience.
Really was. Yeah.
And then we learned as well, there's a third piece of business this salt mine does, and that's it's a company called Underground Vaults and Storage. And
DNFs.
And they have records, government will store their records there, paper records. The film and TV industry has their tapes and videos stored there,
And props.
and props and movies, and it just, man, they're killing it.
It's massive. It's massive because it's a completely climate controlled environment. It's always 58% humidity. It's always 68 degrees.
68 degrees, yeah.
It's very comfortable. We were expecting it. I was thinking it was going to be cold, like walking through the ape tunnel, but you're so far underground, underneath bedrock, and there's an aquifer above you, above the bedrock, and then there's, land, and then, finally, surface. So it's just a very constant, very comfortable, and they bring in fresh air. And walking through the caverns, they're massive. I mean, you don't feel claustrophobic at all. And it was just fascinating, all the different displays and that they had set up, and very well done, informational signs and such. And you could do other train rides and such. And so yeah, that was really a fascinating thing. That at first I was like, a salt mine? Okay, I'm, kind of thinking of some of the mines that we have up in the Northwest, but this was very different. And then learning about the safe storage for paper documents and other things, physical items that are safely stored there. I guess they rent out 20 by 20 spaces, or maybe you buy them. We haven't quite figured out how that works. So that was really cool.
As a matter of fact, they had on display New York Times newspaper the day after Lincoln was assassinated. So the story of that, and it's right there. It is so well preserved. I don't know how anybody could read it back then or now because the print is very, very tiny.
Yeah.
But it was quite fascinating.
Yeah. And then today was the tour through the
Space Museum.
Space Museum, and lots of artifacts from our space development and technology and such. And we had a private tour for the VIPs, which was cool.
Yeah, it was a guided tour.
Yeah.
Lots of explanations and the stuff that they have here is amazing because Houston has a huge museum and Nebraska has a huge museum, more on the airplane side, but they have space related stuff as well. And it's well laid out, well done. And then the next event we're looking forward to going to, and then why we have a hard stop at 8:45 local time. Yeah. Is there's going to be an actual drone show here
for geocaching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we learned that the number of drones, the company that is doing this, had bumped up the quantity of drones just to make sure the display is better.
Yeah, they doubled the amount of drones. So that starts at 9 p.m. local time. So yeah, we need to wrap at 8:45 so we can throw on our shoes and zip our way down there for that. A lot of funds went into that. It wasn't a cheap thing for them to put on. And then of course the big day is tomorrow. The maze is here. The line was way too long today, so we're gonna go do that tomorrow. But we got a lot of labs and a lot of geo art.
If you're a geo art or a lab art person, they've got them.
Yeah. Definitely keep you busy for some time around here. Hello, welcome there, Robert. So this is your topic. Are you ready to kick off, or do you have some notes from the field?
I'm gonna do notes from the field. I was a little late because of technical difficulties with this computer. I have so much space on it, and the RAM is always slow and everything. Sometimes I have to reboot it multiple times to get it to work, but now it's operational. I got my 6,000th fine, so I was thrilled about that. I did a bicycle ride where I did 35 caches in one day on a bicycle heading from North Thornton, Colorado to South Thornton, Colorado. The objective of 8,000th find and finding numerous good caches along the way. So I had a good adventure of that. And then I had some new caches published around me. So I went out 2 days later and I got a 5 caches the other day. So that was pretty cool to add that. I'm up to 6,700 or 7 finds so far. Nice. And I've submitted 3 new earth caches for approval. So we'll see if they get published.
Okay.
Awesome. You've been busy.
Remind me what the topic is again?
It was actually your suggestion, which is DNFs and throwdowns. Yeah.
Okay, so about that, so DNFs, what I will do is if I'm not finding the cache, but I will look through the logs and see if people have found it. If they have found it and there's some DNFs, I suspect it's a lot harder cache and it's fooling me, so I will not ask to replace it or put a cache there to replace it. However, if it's an obvious cache where it's a light pole and you lift it up and there is no pill bottle, anything under there, I will gladly put a log in and put the cache under there and replace it and then send it to the owner. And they're usually happy that I've replaced it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's similar to what we do as well. You definitely want to, well, yeah, I like to hear from other folks first before
Yeah.
I expound on what I do with that. So yeah, thanks for taking us off. Tom, you're next.
Yeah, I won't put down a new cache unless I find pieces of the old one
Okay.
or a log laying out loose.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll put out a new container and let the owner know that I did that. Usually they're very happy that I did that. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's, I see what you're saying. You found evidence that of a container, and it's obvious this
yes,
container is not a container anymore.
Yeah.
And
right,
versus I just didn't find anything.
Mhm.
right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, those are two different
Yeah,
things for sure. Mm-hmm.
And my original is the light on cache. There was an armchair log. Somebody said they found it. I couldn't find it. So I deleted the armchair log and then archived the cache.
Nice.
There you go. Yeah.
You know, that is one thing in my career I have not done is as delete a log.
No, I have.
I haven't had the bad luck that you've
Yeah.
had.
Yeah. Generally it's, like my Jasmer. Oh, my fifth find ever. Yeah. So that one's pretty obvious. But I try to educate somebody first. If they don't qualify for a challenge, that's different from a DNF though. If they don't qualify for it, try to educate them and ask them to change it to a note. And if they don't, then
And bring
eventually
back the
delete
first
it.
to find price.
Well, that would be nice. Yeah, they stole about $50 worth of prizes. That one.
So and then on GeoWoodstock here, as JNLA is mentioning in the chat, there's also a kayak trail they published 2 weeks ago, I want to say, maybe even 3. They've been found and first find well before the GeoWoodstock. Man, I'd forgot all about it because I forgot to pack my kayak.
Yeah,
So,
they just didn't fit in the
Yeah.
carry-on.
yeah,
So you're coming down just for that?
that's what she
Chris?
said. There,
Yeah, coming down Sunday.
JNLA is coming on Sunday.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Unfortunately, we won't be here. We're leaving Saturday afternoon. So
Yeah.
we'll miss ya. Yeah. So anybody else have experience with throwdowns? Who's found 2 caches at one location? Love it. I think the majority of hands have gone up. So what do you do?
Okay, so I've found 3,
Oh,
and all of them were placed by the cache owner that came back to replace it after DNFs and couldn't find their own cache, and so they were put a different one in. And Lisa's one you've probably done on the Little Spokane River. It was yellow alligator log on the Little Spokane.
yes. Yes.
So anyway, and I was really disappointed to see somebody posted a DNF. There were a couple DNFs and it got archived. I know at least one of the containers was still there. But it was pretty funny because I could tell from the logs that the most recent log was different, and I could see a progression, and we kept, Lynn and I were both there, and she's way better at finding caches than I am, and so I found the first one, and I said, boy, this is an old one. There's got to be another one here, and so we found that one, and I said, well, the most recent guys aren't describing this location, so I texted or called one of them, and they told me where they found it, and so we found a third one. So
That's a tricky one though, because it was literally on the river, kind of tucked into the overgrowth. As
Yeah,
I
it was
recall.
hanging. It was
Yeah,
a
a
little
hanger.
dry box hanging from
Yeah.
the bushes.
Yeah, and
So,
obviously that creek really rises and lowers,
Yeah.
and bushes definitely change. So, yeah, that was a tough one. So it is archived now. That's too bad. But
and I
again,
found another one with where this was in England years ago, where the cache owner had couldn't find their hide and placed another one.
mhm.
And in my own defense, I remember replacing a cache I had, and the very next finder said, "Well, I found two of them." So
It happens. Sometimes
happens.
they migrate.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Melissa?
So,
Yeah, the time I so obviously found two was, it was somewhere in a park, and I found the first one, and I signed the log, and it, it had more recent things on it, but I wasn't paying attention to how old the cache was or anything. And as I placed it back and I'm walking away 10 feet away at another tree, because it was hidden at the base of a tree, I'm like, that's a cache. You can't have a cache this close. So I opened it up, and that was actually the original.
Oh.
When I opened it, and everything was fine with the cache. There was no problem. But the other one had been there long enough. It had, numerous signatures on. So I signed the second one. And then I messaged the cache owner. I said, it's been here a while, but there's a second cache at a tree. And I very clearly described the other tree so they would have no trouble finding it. And they answered me right away. And they're like, thank you for telling me. I'm going out and fixing that situation. So I just like DNFs, I try really hard to always leave a DNF if I don't find it, but I also describe in my DNF if, okay, only had 5 minutes, it was getting dark, I didn't have a good look, so the cache owner knows, but I'm also recording I didn't find it, but it was there. Other times I'll hunt and hunt and hunt, and I'll describe that. Obviously, if there are other DNFs on it, you reference, oh, see, I'm not the only one not finding this, that sort of thing. But to me, DNFs are important to the game. And so that's why I log them. A lot of people, particularly if they didn't give it much time, they're like, oh, it's just me, I don't want to say anything. But I think it's important because lots of the times there's supposed to be easy ones. And if you're not finding them right away, that's kind of important information too, for other people. It's like, oh, well, this is supposed to be a 1.5 high find and difficulty. And yeah, somebody who's got a few thousand finds is not finding it in a 1.5 timing.
Yeah.
And I don't say that, but I just, I had 5 minutes, I'm not finding it. Sometimes it's a 1.5 and I spent half an hour.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
then
Sometimes
I'm
it's
really
perspective.
like, it
Yeah.
probably wasn't there.
Yeah.
Throwdowns, I am very hesitant to do a throwdown unless I have, and I wouldn't call it a throwdown then, I would call it a replacement. If I notice there are DNFs in a place and I write to the CO before I go to it and, have a conversation with them, and they say, yeah, if you're not finding it and you want to leave a new cache for me, I'd really appreciate it. So I don't consider that really a throwdown. I consider that a replacement at the CO's
Yes.
request. I don't think I should be, unless the CO has asked me to. There was one time I did leave one, and I actually didn't log my cache. I just wrote a note to the cache owner, and I said, based on, and I spent an hour looking for this thing. I said, based on the pictures and everything, I really think this is where it should be. I'm not finding it. So I have left a container here. please let me know if this is acceptable. I'm not logging until you approve it. You know,
Yeah, that's fair.
and
Yeah.
that was the closest thing to a throwdown. But, you know, the log owner got back to me and then I logged it. And they're like, yeah, that's exactly where it should be.
Okay.
So, and it was a considerable hike in the woods, which was part of it. You know, it wasn't a parking garage. So,
Yeah, that makes it different.
Yeah.
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
that's
yeah.
my 2 cents.
Okay. Well, thank you for
Yes,
sharing.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So we've got Lori and then Robert.
Well, I was half listening. I was in the kitchen doing dinner and dishes. So I got a part of it. For DNFs, you guys were talking about stories, is one of my DNFs one of my caches had gotten archived due to me just not paying attention to emails and everything. And so my daughter and I decided to go out and grab it. And it's on a big piece of machinery in this park. And I had gone out to replace it previously, and I knew exactly where it should be, everything. But I felt that area and I couldn't find it. So I put a new one out. And it's just slightly different area. And so when my daughter and I went out to go get them, she knew where the original was and she's over there looking. And almost at the exact same time, we both yelled, "Got it." And we both had a container.
Oh no.
So yeah. But yeah, that was just a hilarious story. But for DNFs, when we've been traveling and we've seen like a lot of DNFs, maybe on a particular one, or we get out there and we're like, pictures show where it should be, this should be, it's not there. What we did on the trip is we put one down and then immediately emailed the CO and said, okay, this is what we're doing, da da da. We put a container out with our signatures on it. If this is not acceptable, please go get it and have a free container. And I would say, I think we did that at least 3 or 4 times. And every time the owners came back like, thank you. I haven't had a chance to get out there to do it. And we appreciate it. And so, but like Melissa said, I'd rather have reached out ahead of time, but while we're traveling, that's a little hard to do
Right.
in that moment. And that's why I always tell them, if this is not acceptable, please take it and tell me to delete my log and I'll delete my log.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I've learned as the WSGA chapter rep, what I've been doing, especially for logbooks, is all of my events I bring, I have different size baggies and some Write in the Rain paper, cut them down to different sizes. And I'm telling people, take them, create a kit so that you can replace, maybe a wet log or a bad baggie or something. So that's been my goal this year as the WSJ, or the Washington State Geocaching chapter rep, for my chapter. But yeah, DNFs are no fun when you're out there. But I also have a little bit of a challenge to find a DNF when somebody who has lots and lots of finds can't find it. Gives me a little joy.
Yeah. I got that. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, woo, somebody with 30,000 couldn't find it, and I got it. Especially when my numbers were a lot lower. A little bit of, just a little joy.
Yep. Totally get that.
So Robert had his hand up and now
Thanks, Lori.
Robert's gone.
Oh, did we lose Robert? Oh, shoot. I thought
So
we did.
So I wanted to ask everyone. Now I heard on a caching in the Northwest, this was quite a while ago. They were talking about a similar subject, and I think overall was the topic was cache health and how it's calculated, things like that. However, they were talking about instances where what we're talking about tonight, sort of, if I did a throwdown on yours and says now good to go and left it at that, not did the protocol of contacting you and say is this all right, just doing a throwdown, all the way to even, hey, I noticed the log was full and I happen to have a logbook that fits.
Mhm.
So I put in a new piece of paper, and around the country in bits and places, reviewers were taking note of those type of log entries and then putting that cache on the needs maintenance watch protocol because the CO is not doing the maintenance.
Yeah.
And
And that's been that chaps my hide in a way. Because of the geocreed, which is something that I took to heart, when I first started caching it. It's actually what launched my business was the geocreed. And one of one of the creeds is to perform maintenance when you can. And it helps another cacher out. And that's what spawned the cache repair kit, Dr. B's cache repair kit. And it's a community effort to sometimes to maintain these caches. But I get it a little bit, if they're really being ignored, the cachers moved away and people are struggling to, carry them on. But in another way, I mean, it's part of the Geo Creed, and I've taken that over. I actually pay for the hosting of the Geo Creed website and maintain that because I believe in that. So Jim, yeah, got a comment?
Well, first off, I still have my Dr. B's cache maintenance, and I love it. I think it's a great idea.
Thank you.
Where I would draw the line is not finding a cache, and I don't care if you have the cache owner's permission or not. If you place a container and log a find on a container you placed, that's thumbs down for me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that I totally get. I don't think a full container generally should be replaced without the cache owner's permission.
Well, but you can replace it, that's fine with their permission. But if you log a find on the container you placed, still a thumbs
Okay.
down from me.
Okay.
But if you find, like Tom Fuller said, if you find pieces, I
yeah,
mean, if you find evidence of the cache,
Yeah.
I can accept that. You found the cache. If you log the pieces and then you choose to help out, that's cool, I guess, because you found something. And if you found the cache previously and you're in the area and you stop to check on it and it's missing and you replace it because you found it before, you know exactly what it was.
Yeah.
But the other thing I've seen that is frustrating is somebody the ammo can's missing and the throwdown person leaves the film can and calls it good. So
yeah,
Yeah.
don't log a find on a cache that you hid and you didn't find anything else.
Okay.
That's a pretty
somebody else's
simple
cache.
rule to follow, I think.
Okay. Yeah, but it has been frustrating though. Thank you, Jim, for separating those two. But yeah, even just replacing log papers in somebody's cache sometimes.
I don't see any problem with that.
Yeah. Apparently some areas we've heard it does cause problems, but luckily not so much. Tom, I'm gonna wrap in 1 minute.
Yep.
So Tom, I think you're gonna get the last word.
I had a mystery cache out on the south side of the mountain, and a bear knocked it down the hill a long ways.
Ooh.
Another cacher found it, that packed it out. It was broken, and I was happy, and I hit another cache farther down the hill later.
Okay.
So that was one story. Okay.
Yeah, sometimes that works into where a better hide could be. Well, thanks, guys. We're really sorry to draw this topic short. And it's too bad that we lost Robert because he was the one that brought this topic forward, but he got a little bit of conversation in. So tonight is sponsored by Cash Like a Girl. my podcast. I have released episode 1 of season 2 is now available. You can catch it on any of your favorite podcast players, and you can watch it on YouTube Music. If you just go to our channel at Cash Advance. So catch it there. And it is Sandy of Podcasher, Team Podcasher, who I interviewed, and we had a really nice conversation. So
And so, guys, I mean, this podcast, you can watch it and listen to it.
Yeah.
But for a fee.
no,
Okay.
no. It really, it's just I'm giving voice to women geocachers, which I think is a little bit underrepresented in the podcasting world and the geocaching world. So tune in, take a listen, and hear what Sandy has to share with you all. And we'll report back in 2 weeks about the rest of our trip here. We're hitting the drone show tonight, the mega tomorrow, and then we're headed to Kansas City after that. And I think we're going to get Kansas Oldest
Yeah.
in that direction. And then we're actually going to go watch them. The Mariners
Mhm.
are playing Kansas City Royals. So visit a new ballpark for us.
So, just one more thing on the salt mine. The one topic they discussed where they talk about how they prepare a wall to blow it up to get all the rock salt, and they drill these holes where they'll put the explosive. I found that part to be boring. I'm here all week.
Boring into the wall.
It's not funny if you have to explain it.
Yeah. Actually, it was kind of funny at the time. 600 feet down in the arc. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thanks everybody for joining us. Chris, I'm curious. There's a person to finish class. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and she was one of the key crew members at Going Caching. She is in charge of the Jackson County Geo Trail.
Okay.
I mean, she's always she's just kind of been on my radar in the caching world, but I think everybody is aware of her now that she finished Cache Odyssey first. Because
Okay.
she's got a really incredible story. Like, her husband gave up an anniversary trip and went with her to go get, what was it, Hawaii or Alaska or something. It was some crazy trip. It would be a really good story. She tells the story well. She'd be interested on interesting on a podcast.
Oh, fantastic. Well, thank you. I will look her up and see if she would like to
I'm
share
really
her
surprised
story.
you guys don't know each other. I know you both, therefore you should know each other, right?
Yeah, I met her.
Yeah,
But yeah. I
it's
just
now it's sort of
it's
funny
not
from
clicking.
it,
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. Yeah. Well, we're gonna head out and we will see you all in 2 weeks. Same cache time, same cache channel. Good to